Okay. All right. Well, I think the most important aspect of Xavier for us, for me, and for those who teach here is the mission. It is central to everything that I do, and I believe that it is a perfect fit for me. I went to a Catholic university for my undergrad, and so I really enjoyed Catholic social teaching, and I also like the fact that we are committed to the promotion of a more just and humane society, and also helping our students to assume roles of leadership in this global society in which we live. And so, again, that's central to what I do. And I think it's a real blessing for me to be able to teach students those values that St. Catherine demonstrated throughout her life. We're also, again, we are unique in that we're the only Black and Catholic university in the Western Hemisphere. And so at the heart of that is the fact that we were founded by someone who wanted to provide excellent education for people of color throughout the South and West. And so she opened schools all over the South and West, high schools and grammar schools, and for African Americans and also Native peoples, so that she could provide a good education for those who were suffering from inequalities in the educational system. So we integrate the Catholic intellectual uh, background and mindset. I think the basis for all of that for me would be Catholic social teachings, which is anchored in the life, the dignity of each human person, and so that also anchors what we do. We do have on campus a beautiful chapel, and if you happen to be on campus on Wednesdays, you can go to the chapel at 2 o'clock, and we have meditation there, and it's a great place to recharge through your halfway through your week. And again, Catholic social teaching is very important to us. Sense of community, sense of justice. Um, One of the theological terms that Catholics and theologians use is the preferential option for the poor, but also not only the poor, but the outcast or vulnerable. And one of my favorites is subsidiarity, which is a term that is used to explain that in decision making ought to be as close to the people as possible, not a real top-down approach to leadership and authority. And so I relish the fact that I have academic freedom and that my colleagues do as well. All right, some just basic statistics, which I'm glad I had in front of me. We have almost 2,600 undergrad students last year. 72% of them are female, so that was a big difference when I started teaching at Xavier. Sometimes I think it really depends on your discipline and where you are. But for a while there, we had a theology professor who all the males just loved him and took his classes, and so I would have two guys in a whole classroom. So it was kind of strange, but 85% of the students identify as African American. I am also one of those that was considered a first generation college student. About 42% of our students are first generation. So I think for me, that means that my syllabi need to be as friendly and open to first generation college students as I can. One of the things I learned from Jay is not to have office hours, but student hours because they don't, I want to make sure that they come see me. Another uh, aspect of that is we are a welcoming campus. And so I actually give my students 40 points on a quiz if they come see me during office hours, which is great because I get to know them. And I think that's one of the great things about being at a small Catholic university is we get to know them really well. So the org chart, Dr. Marguerite Giguet is the provost. You probably won't have a lot of contact with her. My suggestion for you, if you have a program director or coordinator if you have questions, talk to them or your department chair or division chair or department head. But we have a really supportive dean's office as well. If you have issues with your students, last semester I had a student that came in and her mother had just died, and I took her over to see Dr. Robin Vander, the associate dean, and Robin took care of her, and we, prayed with her, and then Robin took her to the counseling center and informed all of her other professors, and so she's a really important piece there. But also, we're always here at CAT to support you. So if you have questions about technology or anything and your chair doesn't know, contact us and we'll be glad to help you. The logistics, do most of you have your email address? Do you have that and your access to Brightspace? Okay, Jasmine? All right.
How about the English folks? Because I think several of you were just hired in the last day or two.
Yeah, I do not have access to that yet.
All right. So like I said, I've been here since the 1900s, so it's been a while. Jay, how would they just contact ITC? Is that correct? Or
They should get an email at whatever email address you provided the school when your account is set up with instructions about how to activate that Xavier email. So I would say if you don't have that, maybe tomorrow, you could try calling our help desk, and we'll put that. I'll put that number in the chat.
Yeah, and it is on the slides, the links. We have a lot of links here. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to contact ITC and or us about that. Obviously not me, because it's been forever since I've done this. So your office space, you should have some sort of space. In the theology department, we usually have to have shared space for our adjuncts, but you should get an office key, and depending on the building you're in, you might need a bathroom key for the administration as well. And you should have access to the printers and copiers. We do have a new administrative assistant that's coming in. I think she's going to start on Monday, and she will be covering theology, English, philosophy, and one other. But check with your chair, because oftentimes we have administrative assistants that can help us a lot. So talk to your chair and get a rundown on the policies and procedures. And if you have any questions, think about those and maybe contact your chair Friday Friday early, if you don't have an email. All right, this is a map of the campus, which is helpful. You do have the parking spaces and the classroom spaces. We do have classes in the very bottom here, the Art Village. We have some classes. I've had some classes at the Convocation Annex, which is across the canal from the main campus. That's generally the offices for athletics, but I've taught there a couple of times. So if you're teaching in the Convocation Annex, that would be just a quick walk across the bridge. And we have the music building. We have the Norman C. Francis Science Complex, where you have the NCF edition and the NCF. So if your classes are NCF, that will be that building. Administration building is that big building that looks like a castle. And the building next to that is the music building, and it looks like a castle as well. And then you might have some classes in the College of Pharmacy, which is just down from the library. The parking spots are, we do require a parking sticker, and you need to, you can get that from the campus police. We have several places to park. We have one on the far left of the screen here is by the library. Jay has used the star with the E on it, the parking garage. That seems to be fairly open most of the time. I've never parked down there, but you can also park across the street next to the Convocation Center, which is really is where we do most of the basketball games and athletics. But we call it a Convocation Center because of some need to get FEMA money or something like that. We had a really interesting discussion about the naming of that, but we have a lot of events there as well. It's not just basketball. So campus services, we do have the library is in the top left side, the chapel. We have beautiful chapel that was something that was years in the making, and we had a really impressive architect draw that up. It's a beautiful place to congregate, and they have a nice meditation room. St. Joseph Academic and Health Center, right next to the University Center. That's counseling services. We have a doctor as well. And then the University Police is across from the University Center. In the University Center, we do have a cafeteria and some food available. And feel free, if you have any questions along the way, you can interrupt me. Class meeting time is usually 50 minutes. We have Tuesday, Thursday classes and Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. The Tuesday, Thursday classes run a little bit longer. But most classes, you're going to be in a class for 3 hours a week. Your teaching schedule can be found at the myzula.edu. We have several portals and different ways to go to all of the services that you need, your banner where you'll be doing your midterm grades. You do need to have an hour and a half of office hours for every 3 hours of instruction. So generally, a full-time faculty would have 6 hours, but if you're only teaching one, you do need to have at least an hour and a half of office hours where you're available. That can be via Zoom. If you don't have office space, that's fine. You could do that via Zoom. You need to provide a complete and thorough syllabus. We're on we use a program called Simple Syllabus. It's new to most of us, but generally, what I do is I just use my regular syllabus, and you go to zulasimplesyllabus.com and find your class. It should be in there when you log in. And when you go there, you'll have sections that are already of your syllabus that are already filled out. I just cut and paste the elements of my syllabus that I need to put into the simple syllabus. It's we have some drop-in sessions if you need to learn how to do that. We have one on Thursday and one on Monday. Kat is not in charge of that, but Danny is from political science, and she'll be helping you through that if you have a difficult time with that. She's going to be a great help. And some teaching help that we have. One of the elements that I've been using in my teaching for a while has been the transparency in learning and teaching. Let's see if how this works. There we go. We have so many resources available at the CAT website. This is on our wiki, transparency in learning and teaching, the TILT method. One of the things that I do, the TILT method is primarily explaining why you're giving those assignments to the students and why the assignments are contributing to their education. And I found that's really helpful. I just usually there's a transparency in learning and teaching. What I do is I just look at put in my assignments and then put in the tilt guide that we have there and ask the AI to provide those instructions as to why students would be taking all of these assignments and how they contribute to their overall learning. It's a great tool because sometimes I remember in college when I just felt like some of the work was busy work, and this is a way of giving your rationale to your students to show that no, that discussion guide is not just there to take up your time. This discussion has a specific purpose. So this is really helpful. So we have resources available for that. Whoops, where did my there we go. All right. So what we couple of ideas about assignments I'd like to give is don't give lengthy assignments late in the semester, but you also need to make sure that you give at least one assignment that has a significant impact on their grade prior to midterm, because you will be required to enter midterm grades into Banner, and you need to have sufficient grades on that. And I try to make sure all of my assignments are in the grade book on Brightspace, because students will, it's fun actually when they come to my office and say, can you tell me what my grade is? And I'll say, yeah, can you open up your Brightspace and let's take a look at it? And let me show them how to calculate their grade. And so that's really helpful for them. I also this afternoon was looking, and there is a really nice presentation on spanning the memory gap. It's a long one, but I went through the whole thing today, and it was really helpful. So I would suggest that you might want to take a look at that and make sure. One of the initiatives, or one of the rules we had we had our departmental meeting today, and we were told, I want to tell you those rules. They're very helpful. You need to have a syllabus completed by the first day of the semester. Post your office hours near your door. Have a 1 week turnaround in the grades. We've had some problems with professors not grading the work quickly and getting a quick turnaround. And without quick feedback, you're really not helping your students that much. And so the goal is 1 week turnaround, and I've been told that students know about this call from the dean. So you might want to make sure you get those back as quick as possible. Respond to emails quickly and be present for office hours. Those were the rules I received today.
Sorry, Mark, just to clarify,
Sure.
those are rules From the dean's office. For
From the
College of
dean's
Arts and
office,
Sciences.
correct.
So for everybody in the College of Arts and Science, which is
Yeah,
everybody here. Okay, thank you.
yeah. All right, so again, you need to return the assignments and assessments back quickly. Again, I sound redundant, but this instructor quick start set up your gradebook guide for Brightspace is very helpful. You can go through it quickly and it's very organized and you can learn to do that. Rubrics, we also have a presentation on rubrics and a really good, when we do a workshop, we generally provide a wiki page that gives you the resources for those. So if you go to our wiki page, we have a lot of material there. I'm going to go ahead and click on this and go there. This is amazing, amazing stuff. We have a workshop recording on that. We have a Lex Advanced course on Brightspace that you can enroll if you'd like to learn a lot about Brightspace. You can contact Janice and she can add you to that. And it's a very helpful resource. And so you can see here that the slide deck for the presentations, we've got several step-by-step guides on how to create rubrics. I found they make really quick work of grading. And I at one time, several years ago, I had students saying, "Why don't you have rubrics?" And I said, "Well, I don't have to. I'm not required to." But I said, if it's going to help. And so I took advantage of the CAT resources here. And I use rubrics for everything. And they make quick work of grading. And again, that's part of transparency in teaching. I did a 20-minute presentation last maybe spring on how to cultivate a culture of participation. So we have the slides for that, and during that presentation, I mentioned the TILT framework that I mentioned earlier. So we have resources for that, entry and exit tickets into the classroom, and several different types of activities you can use that first week of class to jumpstart really a culture of participation. And I think that's really important. And I think that's another one of those valuable aspects of teaching at Xavier is we want to hear from our students, and our students have a lot to say. And I've learned so much about popular culture and the world around me through the students. My kids are now all grown, so I don't know all the cool things to say. So I will poll them every once in a while and sling out some just kidding. All right. You want to foster a scholarly atmosphere in the classroom. You can have different ways of doing this. I don't mind having my students have their laptops open, and if somebody asks a definition, I'll ask them to look it up, to kind of show them that, there's a lot of material out there that we can learn from. And if we and sometimes I do the same thing in class that I do at home. We end up going down these rabbit holes and finding out other things we need to learn about. And it's a lot of fun. So our students are very inquisitive, and I really think that that's the advantage of teaching at a small Catholic institution like we have, is that we can personally challenge our students and be there for them and help them to grow, because there's a lot of growing that college students need to do. So again, the simple syllabus, here's the link. You need to be on Brightspace. Here's the link for Brightspace. We do also have Brightspace drop-ins. You can go to our CAT calendar, Zula, LibCal. Well, just go to our CAT site and then go to the calendar, and you can see what's going on this week. We have Brightspace drop-in Thursday, 1 to 3. Simple syllabus Thursday, 1 to 3. If you want to use one of our active learning classrooms, I'm probably none of you have done that. You're usually assigned a classroom, but we also have that. Those training for those kinds of electronic classrooms. Again, a couple of more of our offerings, coffee and chat. If you want to come in at 10 o'clock Monday morning, sit around, drink a coffee or Coke or whatever beverage you want at 10 o'clock in the morning and talk with a CAT staff. It's usually me and Ray from computer science, and but it's also been a place for faculty to come in and say, "Hey, I'm really frustrated. What do you suggest?" And so it's a good time for that. And if you're on campus, we do have a walking club, but I realize you're probably going to be fairly busy. But if you want to join us, feel free to, right out in front of the library. So we do have support for the simple syllabus. We have support for Brightspace, and you can find that at CAT and on our website. Attendance is very important for us. If you're teaching a 1000 level class, there is this thing called an FE policy, where if you have students can only miss, I'm trying to manipulate my, whoa, that did not work. That is not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Okay, let me go back to this. So here we go. So if they're taking a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, they're allowed 6 absences. Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, they're only allowed 4 absences. And after that, again, it's 1000 level courses only. The student will receive an FE, which means failing for excessive absence, I guess. But you do need to use the attendance scanners in the classroom. We have some help for that as well. You can also take it manually. It's not really optional to use the attendance scanners. It's optional to take it manually, but I take it manually because that's the best way for me to get to know my students. And so you can go to this website if you need to make changes in the attendance throughout the semester. Again, we have an academic integrity policy, and I always have a link to that on my syllabi, and go through that. And as long as you're consistent with those, then that's very helpful, and it'll give you a guide as to what you need to do, how you need to report issues of misconduct. The artificial intelligence issues, I think that is probably best taken care of with talking to your chair or head of your department. You need to have a clearly defined policy, even if the policy is, hey, don't use AI. I would try to beef it up a little bit more than that. But follow that policy consistently. Do not rely on the detection system in Brightspace. It is not accurate. And I've found that none are accurate. And if you'd like some help with artificial intelligence, you can also go to our wiki, and we have some resources there for you. Yeah, if you're familiar with New Orleans, and most of you I'm sure are, We sometimes close because of ice on the streets or rain, water on the streets, hurricanes. And so you need to have instructional continuity. And so you need to put that in your syllabus that sometimes we really need to pivot to online teaching in short notice. This is really exceptional material here. We have all kinds of resources here for you. And again, if something happens quickly, check with your chair. If you need some help, contact CAT. We're always glad to help in any way we can. Okay. Go back to this again. You can enroll, contact Janice and get enrolled in Learn Everywhere Zula if you'd like. There's a lot of great resources on that site. All right, so and this is why I sent you a copy of the slides, because this is really helpful. ITC help desk is here. If you need Brightspace questions, Janice is your first. I would go to Janice first. We have Karen Nichols, but Karen is primarily, the only time I contact her is usually if I'm consolidating 3 or 2 courses into one on Brightspace. But if you just have routine Brightspace questions, Janice will help you and do a really good job with that. And now we have a faculty member, Daniela. She is in political science, and you can contact her with your questions. And she is in charge of the drop-ins and all of that now. So she's a really good resource for that. Again, we are I keep calling us CAT because we were called CAT for a long time, but we're the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Faculty Development. So if you'd like professional development, we have CAT Talks. We have set discussions around AI, and you can subscribe to our calendar. And hopefully soon, your Xavier email will be available to me, and I send a newsletter around weekly. But we have wellness events every week, and then we have workshops, webinars, and other initiatives as well. So feel free to take advantage of any of those that you can. Do you have any questions?